Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're doing something highly practical and honestly, potentially life-changing for a lot of you out there. We're building a science-backed natural toolkit that you can actually take in and discuss with your doctor for migraine relief. Look, if you or someone you love deals with migraines, you already know that finding a treatment that actually works can feel like wandering through an impossible maze. So our goal today is simple. We're cutting through all the noise and the internet folktales. We're going to build a functional clinical checklist of 5 medicinal plants that have real, peer-reviewed evidence behind them. That way, you can have a truly informed, productive conversation with your physician. Here's our game plan for today. 1. The migraine reality. 2. Daily migraine preventatives. 3. Fast acute relief plants. 4. Targeting neuroinflammation. 5. The clinical evidence summary. And 6. Safety and doctor discussion. All right, Section 1, the migraine reality and the global impact of severe attacks. Just listen to this description for a second. It's lights that feel like knives. It's sound that makes you want to crawl under a blanket and disappear. You know, a migraine isn't just a bad headache. It's a profound neurological event. It brings nausea, it brings confusion, and it can literally steal hours or even entire days from your life. It's an intense sensory nightmare that, frankly, standard over-the-counter treatments often completely fail to fix. And if you ever feel like you're fighting this battle alone, well, get a load of this number. 303 million. That's the number of people worldwide who suffer from migraines. This massive global impact is exactly why clinical research into natural alternative therapies is absolutely critical right now. People are desperate for options that actually work without those debilitating side effects. Moving into Section 2, Daily Migraine Preventatives, Building Your Foundational Defense. Okay, let's dive into this. We're starting with the first major category of our checklist, foundational defenses. First up is Feverfew, which is actually one of the most thoroughly studied herbs out there for migraines. Its active compound is called parthenolide, and it works by blocking inflammatory chemicals and suppressing prostaglandins, which are the very molecules that drive pain. It also interferes with erratic serotonin signaling, which we know is directly tied to migraine attacks. Now, the absolutely crucial thing to remember here, Feverfew is a long-term preventative. It's not a quick fix. A landmark randomized controlled trial in the British Medical Journal actually proved that when patients stopped taking it and switched over to a placebo, their migraines spiked in both frequency and severity. It quietly works behind the scenes over several weeks to build up your defense. Now, before we jump to our second preventative, Butterbur, we really need to understand what CGRP is. Calcitonin gene-related peptide is one of the primary molecular triggers of a migraine attack. It gets released right from the nerve fibers in your brain's lining. And here's why this matters. The newest, most expensive prescription migraine drugs on the market today work specifically by targeting and blocking this exact trigger. And that is why Butterbur is incredibly exciting, because it blocks CGRP naturally. Let's look at this comparison from a major 4-month randomized trial published in the journal Neurology. Patients taking 75 milligrams of Butterbur twice daily saw a massive 48% drop in migraine frequency. That is nearly double the effect of the placebo. Because of that incredible data, Butterbur achieved something very, very rare for a plant. Back in 2012, the American Academy of Neurology gave Butterbur a Level A classification for migraine prevention. Let that sink in. Level A is the highest possible rating they give, meaning it's strongly recommended based on controlled clinical trial evidence. This literally puts Butterbur on par with serious prescription medications. All right, Section 3, Fast Acute Relief Plants. These are your tools for when the attack hits. So we're shifting gears from daily prevention to rapid response tools for the exact moment an attack starts. And what's truly remarkable here is the direct comparison. We usually just think of ginger for an upset stomach, right? But a 2014 randomized controlled trial compared 250 milligrams of standardized ginger powder directly to sumatriptan, which is one of the most commonly prescribed migraine drugs in the world. The results? It's wild. Ginger performed comparably to the prescription drug for reducing migraine pain, but with fewer side effects. Its active compounds, gingerols and shogalls, act on the exact same inflammatory systems as leading NSAIDs and triptans. So how do you actually use it? You'll want to follow these exact steps. Aim for 400 to 500 milligrams of a standardized extract that contains at least 5% gingerols. If you don't have that handy, no worries. You can grate 1 to 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger root, steep it in hot water for 10 minutes, and just drink it. The key here is step 3. You have to consume it at the very first sign of an attack. And as a great bonus, this directly targets the nausea and vomiting that make migraines so completely unbearable. Our second acute relief tool is lavender. And listen, we are not just talking about a pleasant candle smell here. The active compound is a terpene called linalool. Clinical trials show that inhaling lavender oil for 15 to 20 minutes right at the onset of a migraine, or applying 2 to 3 diluted drops to your upper lip, effectively shuts down those pain pathways. In fact, one study showed meaningful improvement for a stunning 74% of participants. And a recent meta-analysis totally confirmed it, producing real, measurable reductions in migraine intensity.
Section 4. Targeting neuroinflammation with turmeric, the brain target.
You know, migraines are deeply tied to inflammation happening right inside the brain and nervous system. Turmeric, specifically its active compound curcumin, attacks this neuroinflammation from multiple angles at once. It suppresses inflammatory cytokines, it reduces oxidative stress in neural tissue, and just like Butterbur, it actually appears to inhibit the expression of CGRP. A 2023 research review confirmed that curcumin reduces both the frequency and the severity of attacks.
But a quick heads up, you cannot just use the turmeric from your spice rack for this. To get real therapeutic results, you absolutely must follow these steps. You need to choose a standardized supplement of 95% curcuminoids. It is vital that the formula contains black pepper or piperine to increase bioavailability. And finally, take 500 to 1,000 milligrams daily alongside a meal containing fat for the absolute best absorption.
Section 5. Clinical Evidence Summary. This is your patient-doctor checklist.
So the crucial point is right here. I highly encourage you to take a screenshot or jot this down right now. This is exactly what you want to bring to your next medical appointment. Let's break it down. We've got Feverfew and Butterbur as your evidence-backed preventatives, featuring landmark British Medical Journal trials and Level A evidence from the American Academy of Neurology. We have Ginger and Lavender for acute relief, backed by trials showing them comparable to prescription drugs, plus robust meta-analyses. And we wrap it up with turmeric as a powerful preventative targeting neuroinflammation. This right here is a structured clinical toolkit. And finally, Section 6, Safety and Doctor Discussion, Critical Cautions and Red Flags. Look, natural absolutely does not mean harmless. So here is the caution list you really need to review with your physician. First, never eat raw Butterbur. It contains pyrrolizidine alkaloids that cause liver toxicity. You must only use certified PA-free extracts like Potato Lex, which was the one used in the trials. Second, high doses of Feverfew and turmeric are absolutely not recommended if you are pregnant. Third, those same two plants, Feverfew and turmeric, can interact with blood thinners and anticoagulants. And lastly, always dilute your lavender oil in a carrier oil and do a quick patch test before putting it on your skin. Finally, please pay attention to this massive red flag. These plants are powerful, evidence-based tools, but they absolutely do not replace your doctor. If you're experiencing severe, frequent migraines, or if your headache patterns suddenly change in any way, you must seek immediate medical attention from a qualified neurologist. This toolkit works best when it's integrated into a comprehensive medical strategy safely monitored by your healthcare provider. Well, we've covered the mechanisms, the clinical trials, and the safety protocols. You now have a complete, science-backed framework to take control of your migraine management strategy. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Armed with this clinical checklist, which of these evidence-based plants are you going to discuss at your next doctor's appointment? Let me know in the comments below, and please share your experiences so we can all learn together. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay focused, stay curious, and keep learning.